Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a cut line around a couple of these examples that we just downloaded and see how they go. So I'm pretty sure they went to downloads. Yep. So let's just open these three. Vector is always best because then you can tell it to kind of draw a cut line automatically. Otherwise, you're going to have to figure out how to draw it if it's coming through like Ping or JPEG or something like that. The first thing you want to do is you want to just select the entire art, whatever it's going to be, all the way around it. And then you're going to come up to Object, Path, Offset Path. Now that's going to give it, see how it outlines it again? And this offset here determines how much of an offset. So if I were to put 0.2 instead of 0.1, you'll see that it gets much bigger, right, on that. Now, the offset, 0.2 inches, so that's a 1/4 inch, right? It's relative to how big of a thing you're doing. In this case, right now, it's 2 inches by 5 inches is the size of what we're dealing with. If you were dealing with 25 by 35 and you did 0.25, it would look like a little sliver. Right? So okay. that makes sense. So in this case, you know, if you kind of want to eyeball, and the way I do it is if the image, and let's just cancel this real quick, if the image itself is around 4 inches in width or height or whatever, then it should be about 0.125 inches in offset. And we give it like an 1/8 of an inch off of it. And it looks nice. That's how all our stickers are. So if you can remember that, about 4 inches wide of the sticker, 0.125.
Wide or height?
I'll show you. So let's just do that. So let's just make the width 4 inches. When I'm resizing anything, notice this little chain right here?
Yeah.
If I take 4 inches and I say that and the chain is on, then it will automatically adjust that to keep it the same aspect ratio. If I unlink it, then one will change the other and it'll distort.
Okay.
So if I'm resizing, I keep that chain on. So we have about a 4x3 sticker right here. And now if I say Object, Path, Offset Path, here, and I say 0.125, then that's about the right distance. It looks nice.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Now, what is that doing? That's...
Okay, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Does that make sense so far, just using offset path to create a second path around the first one? You're just drawing all the way around it.
Okay.
Right? Because you can see, let me just do that real quick.
Is it the square or is
it
the...
Look, here is our offset path. If you just zoom in here, the outside edge is the offset path that we made. The inside edge is the original love that we had before. And so all around the edge right here, it has created a path 1.25. And so if you look at it, it goes around, fills in this whole thing, goes around so you can see, right?
Okay.
In the center, it just filled in the whole thing because 1.25 is bigger than that. So what it ends up looking like almost is just a big blob of nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I just wanted you to understand that. Now, what we're going to actually do here is we're going to go back and we're going to create the entire process. This is what you would do if you were just coming in to do this. First thing that you would do is you'd resize the sticker to the size that you wanted to print it at, whatever that is, using the chain and all that kind of stuff. So I'd click on there, make sure the chain's there, set it to 4 inches. We already did that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this because I'm going to need it again. So then I can do my offset path, Object, Path, Offset Path.
The second time?
No, this is the first time I'm doing it. Just like, yeah,
okay.
So 1, we resized it. 2, we copied it. 3, we did the offset path.
Okay.
Right? So that's all we're doing right now. 0.125, as long as it's 4 inches, that looks good. Boom, we set that there. Now I'm going to grab the entire image and I want to merge this all into one big blob. Okay.
Okay.
There's something called the Pathfinder tools right here.
Okay.
Right? It looks like that. 2 squares kind of interjoined like
that.
Pathfinder comes up here. There are 2 tools that you want to use in Pathfinder. The first one that I want to do, I'll just make it easy for you. I'll just use one of the tools. It's right here and it's called Unite.
Okay.
The very upper left-hand corner. All that's saying is take all these paths here and unite it into one shape. Right now there's a bunch of shapes. They're all kind of overlapping each other. As soon as I say unite, it becomes one shape. Now you'll notice a couple of things. You'll notice that there is a line all the way around the outside. That's going to end up becoming our cut line.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Then there's this shit on the inside. Right? We don't want the shit on the inside because we're actually making a cut line right now. We don't want it to cut inside of anything.
Okay.
Right? So what I need to do then is I need to do the direct selection tool right here, the white one. And then just select on the outside edge of one of these things and then hit delete and then delete again.
Okay.
And I can do that for each one of these. Delete, delete. Select that little thing, delete, delete. And select that little thing, delete, delete. There we go. Now I've got a pretty solid blob, right? What I need to do is I need to turn this into a cut line, not a blob. And what I need to do is just flip it from the fill to the stroke right there. You see that?
Yeah.
You see this line right here? Swap.
Okay.
Swap that.
Oh, nice.
And now I have a nice little cut line around.
Okay.
Is that my computer or is that something there? That's what we need to delete. Yes, it is. So, right there.
I think you have
Delete, delete.
one up there too.
Control A will select everything and let you know. So it's saying only around here.
Okay.
So we're good. Okay, now this is our basic cut line. Now what I can do is I can say Control F, as in Frank, to paste the original image back in the center.
Oh.
And now we have a sticker with a cut line, right?
Neat.
Yay. So that's how that works. Now there's only one thing left, and that is the cut line is kind of funky in a few places. Like
Yeah.
that's really weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. The rest of it's pretty cool, but those two areas need to be done. So I would just hold down the Alt key and use my mouse wheel to zoom in. Put
Okay.
my wheel it is, and I can zoom right into that, right? And you know, what I would do is I just use my logic here. I'd say, okay, if the cutter's going zzz, I might want it to come down here and go clink and then go back up this way.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was
fuck off
thinking.
all this. So I would just grab this stuff and I would just highlight these areas and I would just hit delete, right? Okay, I can delete that. And then I'm thinking, okay, I can delete this one. But if I delete this one, notice that it'll delete all the way up to there.
Sure. So you're going to create a new.
What I would probably do is I would probably just then unselect this thing. Now, I want you to notice one nuance, and this is something that kind of funks me up every now and again. If we've already selected the line or whatever, and then I go to, like let's say, for example, if the line's already selected, and then I'm trying to move something, if it's already selected like this, and I'm like, oh, I want to move this thing, and I grab it, it'll move the whole line.
Oh.
Ah!
Got it.
That happens, just hit Control Z.
Okay.
Unselect everything, hover over, find that mark, and then grab it, and then move it. And then it'll move just that single line. Now I can just move that over. Right there. And when I do that, I just want to select them, right-click, join, so it joins it together.
Okay.
And that's how that works. That might be a lot of information, but now look at how neat that is.
Yeah.
Right? And you'll have the recording, so you can see what I did. Right? Again, I can take any two paths on this line that are disconnected.
Yeah, I've watched you do that numerous times.
And I can join them like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I just do the same thing over here. Right. Come in here. I just select maybe select that one, delete. Okay, cool. Here and here, join.
Oh. Okay.
So
neat.
Now we got a nice, neat little. Now we're not quite done yet, but now we have the basics of our sticker. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to separate this from the layers, right? Right now it's just a single layer, right? So I always call that color, right?
Yep.
Capital color. And then I always create another one on the top, which is going to be, actually this one's going to be perf contour, because we're cutting it all the way through.
Okay.
All right. Now you notice that if we select just the lines, go back to our all regular selection tool. If we select just the cut line, we notice that it's actually in the color layer.
Okay.
So we just want to select just that first, and then grab that red dot and just drag it up.
Because that's just pulling one piece out versus having to find it. Okay.
Yeah, and drop it on. And you can kind of see it appear in there.
Okay.
And now you know it's there. And you can always just turn it off and on if you're like, okay, yeah, that's my cut line. Okay, now you've got that perf contour. There's one more thing we need to do to let Onyx know that it actually is a cut. We need to change the swatch of
That's
it.
what I thought.
Okay, so now we're going to select this here, and we're going to come over to this tool right here, the swatches. Open that up, and we're going to hit plus for new swatch.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to name it the same thing, perf contour.
Okay.
And so in our quick set, it's looking for that. If it sees a swatch with perf contour, it's automatically going to send it to the color, right? That's just how it is. It has to be a spot color, not a process color.
Okay.
And it has to be CMYK.
Okay.
And then we always set the perf to 100% magenta, nothing else.
That's what I thought.
So that's how you do all that. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, bang, it goes 100% magenta. And now you actually have a cut line and something to print. This is print ready. All you need to do now is simply say object, artboards, and then fit to artwork bounds, and it'll just size that up right there to that. And that is now a printable sticker that you can say file, save as.
Nice.
say where we want to stick it in our stickers, right? And you want to set it to a PDF. And then we can say love 4-inch sticker. And that is how to do it. So there is an example of one that was not 100% easy, but there was some things we needed to do, right? We need to tweak it. Now let's go to something a little bit different. So our next example here is this. So yeah.
Oh, forget it. Start shit.
Exactly. Okay, we're recording again. Okay, cool. So now we have a different one, and this one has a couple things. You'll get this a lot. Again, I'm holding down Alt, and I'm using my wheel to roll forward to zoom. And you notice that I can just select like the background on this one.
Okay.
Okay, blah. You know, do we want to? If we wanted to do this as a contour and not as a cut, then that might be something that I might have to do is just like delete this, maybe. I would delete it for now. We might be able to put it back. Now, when I delete it, it's going to look like I deleted everything, but really it's white on white. You know.
Okay.
And it's different colors right now because each of these things is on a different layer, and it just colors it different.
Okay.
So that's why it looks like that. So I could probably do is I'd probably just change everything to black. It might be the easiest thing to do, and we can always change the colors back later. But now, okay, I have that there, and now we can work with that a little bit better. It's going to be the same thing, but notice that this is actually a series of like little paths all made up of whatever not, right? So that is very complex and might be something that the computer has a little bit of an interesting time determining what the actual overall outward path is. So first thing I would do is maybe just take all of this stuff here, and maybe I would just like grab this and just start moving them down into their layers. So I'd grab it, move it, then click it again to grab everything in that layer, drag it down, move it, click everything, and then drag it down. Okay, now I got all that kind of stuff. And then I'll just go up to the top here and using the trash can here, I'll just delete, 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 delete. Now I've got that. I can change that to the color layer. Now we're on color. I can put my perf contour on top if I'm just doing my layer work right now, or whatever. So, okay, we've got it to the point now where our layers look good. We're where we are. I'll just go through, I'll select everything, and I'll hit Control-G, or I can right-click, and I can say group, right? Okay. So you can right-click and say group, or you can just Control-G to group that together so that the next time you click on it, it clicks everything, and you can just move it around as one thing. Otherwise, you're going to move half things, and you don't want to like change where everything is. Right. Okay. Now, we're at this time where we look and we say, and there's a lot of things I'm going to be teaching you. But notice that the rulers are in millimeters up here.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So that just happens to be the artist was working in millimeters. Whenever you have this, there's two things you need to know. One is that the ruler is where you change the measure from millimeters to inches, and inches is the easiest thing for us, right? The second thing is the ruler has to be there in the first place, right? If you're in millimeters right now, because you can see mm up here in the top, but you don't have a ruler, then Control-R is how you show your ruler. Okay. Right? And then once you get your ruler there, to right click on the ruler, you can change it from whatever to whatever. Okay. Inches. So now we can see this is 7 inches by 3 inches. 7 inches is too big, right? We want to do a what? Let's go for this one, a 3-inch wide sticker. 3 inches by 1.3 inches. That's where we're going to go. Hold down Alt, use the wheel to zoom in a bit, and we can work with it about here. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we have it the right size, it's on the right layer and everything. We're just going to go ahead and copy it. Control-C. And let's see. So you notice now, okay, that wasn't bad. Doesn't seem to be too bad. Okay, so I've copied it. Now let's try that path, offset path. Object, path, offset path. Just thinking about it, right? There's a lot of different paths here, right? So how can I offset all of this stuff? So it's literally going to go around every single object and do an offset path around everything, right? Just that might look crazy. It could work out. And what ends up happening is all the small little dots will end up filling in just solid black. And what you'll be dealing with is whatever's around the edge, right? Okay. And hopefully that actually makes a nice, neat circle or cut path, and maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. So we're getting to the end here.
Straight in.
Okay, wow. So The meter join is saying I want to use sharp edges and angles and that kind of stuff. It's really good for contour curves with like points in it or something like that. It usually works really well. But this is what can happen when you have all of those different things. Now look at all the paths.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like some kind of weird string art,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we can change the joins to rounds, and which will round things out. Did it work? Yeah, it's thinking about it. So it's going to think about actually using it in rounds now, and that can actually change this broken glass look a little bit to maybe a bit of a path, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, so now we changed it to round, and notice it did make a little bit better of an overall looking cut path if you look. So that's what you're looking for, is just the outside edge, because you're going to unite all this stuff into one thing anyways, right? So let's go with that. That looks actually much better. So now I would select everything again, so we get everything in there. And then we'll come in here to our Pathfinder, and then use the Unite to pull all together. It might take a second for that to think about that, uniting that together. Okay, so now that we've done that, that looks pretty solid. And then we can go ahead and flip it to be a cut line. And then let's go ahead and add back our visual art. And that's what that sticker would look like.
That's neat.
So that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a cool sticker too.
Yeah, that's not bad. And so then from here, now then we just need to go ahead and make this into a cut line, right? So we'll go there. Do you remember what to do here?
You're going to go to your layers.
Okay.
And you're going to, no, I don't remember.
Okay, now you're going to grab that one and you're going to move it right up to that perf contour.
Okay.
So that goes into perf. And then we need to make a swatch for this.
Yeah, and then you make the swatch.
Okay, do you remember how to make swatch?
Using the swatch tool. So
Okay,
you select
right
your layer, do the swatch, do a new one.
Okay, notice here, there's new swatches grayed out. And this happens sometimes when you're working with other people's, and I'm not sure how or why. But if it ever happens, what you can do, I think, is just come over here and double click on any of the swatches that are already there. Hopefully it's a swatch that maybe is not already in there. Let's see. Let's pick this one. I'll just double click on the white one because everything seems to be black, right? Now I'll call that perf contour. I'll change it to a spot color. I'll change it to CMYK, and then I'll roll up the magenta. Bammo. Okay. Oh, was I not selecting something? Okay. Sometimes you'll do this, and if you're not actually selecting something, then it won't actually change. But you'll actually make the swatch, and what you can then do is just click on the perf contour. If this happens where it comes in the center, then all you have to do here is just turn off the black. Click on your stroke and turn off the black. You remember how to do that? And then just flip them, so that you only have one, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it'll happen sometimes where it'll apply the swatch to the fill instead of the stroke, and you just need to flip that. If I hadn't turned off the black, what happens is then this would all have been black in the center, and that would have been, magenta on the outside. So that's why you want to turn off the black. Okay, so now we've got the perf contour line. It's there. We've got the color in there, and the last thing we need to do is pull the artboard down to the size, and we just go Object, Artboards, Fit to Artboard Bounds, and there we go. And then File, Save As. And that's an example of the second one, Independence Day stickers, right? Remember, it's a PDF we're saving, and that's going to be Happy Independence Day 3-inch sticker. Okay, so that's that one. Now, what else do we have? Okay, when we have ones that are easy like this, if I chose this one, I would use this outside edge, the blue edge right there, as a offset. As long as I sized it right, it would come up perfectly.
That's exactly what I want.
Stupid easy, right? That's stupid easy. This is stupid easy. This is stupid. All this stuff is stupid easy, right? For this kind of stuff. There's two ways I wanted to show you. There's two ways that you could do something like this, right? If I know the exact size of something, right? So if I click on this, and I'll just go through this really quickly. I'm going to right click on the ruler, I'm going to change it to inches. I'm going to look back here, it's 1.6 by 1.6. Let's make it a 2.5 inch circle because that's about the size of the 800 bud sticker. All right, that's good.
Okay.
I'm just going to Control X to get rid of that, or Control C to copy it, whatever. Idea is that I'm going to do something new. I'm going to choose print, and I'm going to make sure that I'm on inches so I don't have to deal with that, right? I don't care how big everything else is, whatever, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to Control V. It didn't copy. Let's go back and grab it again. For some reason it didn't copy. Control C to copy. Delete that. Control V to paste. Okay, cool. Now we got there. Now, if I know that it's 2.5 inches, I might just like come over here, long press until an option comes up on my rectangle or whatever, and just make sure I go to the ellipse tool.
Okay.
Once I do that, I can just, if I know this is 2.5 inches and I'm 1.25, I can click here and I can do some math, right? So 2.5 plus 0.125 is 2.625, right? 125, right? 2.625. 25. Is that making sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I can grab that, and then I can just select both of these, and I can say, like that. There you go. And I can click on this thing, and then I can rotate it. I can click that, and now look, I've got this perfect cut line. You know, so that's a little bit quicker of a way when you have an actual circle or you have a square or something like that.
And
when you know the dimensions.
You layer. You
right. From here, what I would do is I just do this real quick. Just pull this down. Here, is there anything inside here? Nothing. Right. Delete these two. Then I just, make sure I've got my perv contour line. Everything else is the same at this point, right? Perv contour. Sometimes when you double click, it'll let you change it here, and other times it'll pop up this thing, just whatever.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, whatever it is. Right? But then I can just click on the line, grab that little box, and just throw it up there. Okay. Then I just need to do the swatch. Right? Do the swatch. Now if we're just working a little bit faster now, right? Spot color CMYK. Throw all these down to 0. And then throw the magenta up to 100. There we go. It looks really good. I just go here to my object, artboards, and fit to artboard bounds. And there we go. Now we have.
I got it.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to fucking town.
Cool. And then that was it. I don't know if the other one had anything else that I wanted to show you really. No, that was it. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the idea.
Pause.